guys, so on today's video I'm going to be sharing with you a Skype interview call that I did with Tom Merrick, aka the Bodyweight Warrior. If you haven't already heard about Tom, he is an awesome guy that has lots of experience in bodyweight training. He's did powerlifting and then transitioned into the past 3 years into bodyweight training / inversion training. So I wanted to interview him and ask him some questions. I'm very happy with the conversations we had and I hope that you guys enjoy. Sweet. So, Tom, for anybody that obviously doesn't know you from my channel, you are Tom Merrick, aka the Bodyweight Warrior. I've been following you for a few months now, and basically I wanted to ask you some questions because I think that you're awesome, and I think that a lot of people that follow me would be really interested in what you do. So, the first thing I want to ask you is, what is your background? Did you just get into bodyweight fitness? Did you play other sports growing up?
I've always been a relatively active individual. I did kind of get a little bit fat towards the end of school, kind of just eating stuff, and you're not as young and you can't really get away with it as much. So I started doing a mixture. I've kind of done a bit of powerlifting. I've done bodybuilding. I've been training for 6 years in total now, 3 of which have been bodyweight, and I think maybe 2 of that has been handstand and balancing, and then more gymnastics kind of stuff.
Cool. And has that been more that's what it's progressed more into, or that's what it was more at the start?
No, it's definitely progressed into that.
Yeah.
Actually, I think somebody down your neck of the woods over in Australia called Paul Upside Down, I think, on Instagram.
Yeah, he's crazy.
He's so good.
Yeah.
So good. But yeah, he had this hashtag on Instagram that was handstand 365. You had to do a handstand every day. So I was like, I'm just going to go do it.
Yeah.
And yeah, that was essential for kind of learning and building the handstand.
Yeah, I've unofficially done that for the past year. I should have hashtagged it probably all the way through. I've definitely done handstand every day, but I should have done that probably. So that kind of answers how often you practice inversions. So you practice them on a relatively daily basis?
Yeah, I think that's one of the things that people don't do. I'm quite involved in the Reddit bodyweight fitness community.
Yeah.
And part of their recommendations on handstand is you do it as part of your training day. So you only see people training it maybe 3 times a week.
Yeah.
And the handstand is just one of those skills that you just got to do every single day.
Yeah.
And make sure you chip away at, even if it's just 5 to 10 minutes, just practicing out in your back garden or anywhere.
Yeah.
If you're on the beach where you are.
Yeah.
And yeah, just working at it.
Yeah, it's one of those things that it is pretty easy to do 5 or 10 minutes a day, because unlike a lot of other exercises, you don't need a gym or a tumble track or a trampoline. All you need is literally your hands in an open space.
Fun as well. It's not the sort of, some people might see traditional exercise as a bit of a chore, but handstand it's just, hand balancing is just fun.
Yeah. Oh, and you can see that because you always see kids doing handstands and stuff.
Exactly.
So if kids do it, it has to be fun. So what specifically are you working towards right now? Do you have personally, right now I'm working on hollow backs and pressing, and getting into a handstand press. What do you have a major goal?
How are you finding those?
The hollow backs have been going really well. I actually recently just kind of tweaked my shoulder. So I've been having to, these past few days, kind of stay away from inversions, which has been really tough. It's been 48 hours and there's only been 1 handstand. But it's going well. The hollow backs are going well. It's one of those movements that it takes a while to figure out, but once you start to figure it out, it's you can make a lot of progress quickly, and then I'm assuming I'll hit a plateau and I'll take a long time to break through to the next level of it. But and then
something just clicks.
Yeah, exactly. You just get the muscle memory. I think once the muscle memory gets in place, then it frees up your mind to actually be okay, how can I go into this movement further? And then as far as the press goes, that's just a matter of needing to build up more strength, which is why I need to do more of the stuff that you work on and not just inversions, because Yeah, I need to get myself a bit stronger to get a full press. I can do a puppy press if you've seen any of
Oh, the
that.
like one arm or the one leg one, sorry.
Yeah, yeah. So
Mm-hmm.
that's like that,
Oh,
which is
cool.
still big. Yeah. So what did I ask you? Oh yeah. So what are you
I think
working towards?
I kind of, yeah, I kind of like ended up asking you the question. Yeah, so in terms of hand balancing, it's something I initially got into this kind of movement gymnastic stuff because of hand balancing. And then once I got up to a certain point, I was like, cool, this is fun. And then I've moved on to other things.
Yeah.
But recently I've kind of come back to it, and then I'm really focusing on the one arm handstand at the moment,
Mm-hmm.
which I think is going to be kind of a long rabbit hole to go down
Yeah.
to try and actually learn. It's definitely a humbling experience because, like, once you get into a bit of a comfort zone with the handstand, you feel relatively comfortable that you can just kick up, hold handstand, do a few moves, do whatever.
Yeah.
Trying to do like a one arm handstand is very humbling because it's a lot of failing.
Hard. Yeah, like since I'm nowhere near being able to work on a one handstand, one of my friends, her name's Rachel. I've posted a few photos with her on my Instagram. She used to be a gymnast, and she's an amazing hand balancer, and she is just at like the start of holding one-armed handstands. And she's holding them for probably like 5 to 10 seconds, maybe a bit longer sometimes. She's probably holding them a bit longer at this point. But she said that for her, it was like she got really good at handstands, got really good at pressing, and then it was like having to completely relearn handstands, learning the one-armed handstand as if she couldn't do anything before. So,
yes, yeah.
Sounds hard.
Well, I've been on a bit of a journey this last year, like kind of as I've kind of been perfecting my form more and more, I realized that like this little bit's not straight, this isn't quite right, and I've done a lot of like very small tweaking to my handstand line, and I couldn't have even started on the one arm handstand if I hadn't have had that in place to begin with.
Are you doing any like specific, like, have you adjusted your body weight routine at all for learning one handstands? Like, is there more shoulder exercises that you might be doing, or have you?
I've just with the handstand stuff, like I find that just like all training, like in general, it's important to find a balance between play and then programs training.
Mm-hmm.
Like I think actually when it comes to hand balancing, you can play a lot and you can learn a lot without having much structure at all.
Yeah. I agree.
Which is kind of the approach that I'm going for at the moment, really. I'm just kind of having fun. I kind of leave 30 minutes at the beginning of my training sessions. So that's 5 days a week of like really 30 minutes focused, like handstand work. Well, just play anyway. I just play around. I try and do different moves, specifically the one-arm handstand at the moment. And then I might follow that up with like three sets of, and you have the blocks that you can put your hands on and you can walk up and down. It's just kind of get stronger in that elevated one-arm position. So it's not very focused in such. It's more of a play session.
Yeah.
But it seems to be moving slowly forward. It's definitely going to take a while.
And like when you're playing's good because I have a transformation video that seems to be like a magnet for people commenting, being like, I need to make all these big life changes, and like people really attacking things. I mean, like, I have to do these things that I don't want to do. And like my number one thing is that if you want to actually make progress or change, just find something you enjoy, right? Because you're way more likely to practice something consistently that you're having fun with than something that you don't enjoy. And it's, passion is like everything. So that's cool. And that makes me feel good too, because that's what I do with all these inversions. People ask me for like my precise number of handstands and exercise, and I'm like, I just go out and have a lot of fun and just try to enjoy it.
It's this weird one. I think literally like one of my more popular recent videos on the handstand on my YouTube channel, it was the number one mistake that I see people making with the handstand, and that is just not trying it, not playing. People get stuck on the wall and they're like, I'm going to work up to 5 sets of 60 seconds on the wall and then I'll have my handstand. But it just doesn't, like, it's not like you hit a magic number and then all of a sudden you can do a handstand. Like, you just need to try and just keep trying. That's why that handstand 365 hashtag was so useful for me. I didn't realize it at the time.
Yeah.
All that was doing was getting me to practice every day. Handstand isn't particularly intense. Like it's a relatively, I mean, it's the wrists that will take it to begin with, but especially like once you get 6 months under your belt, if you do like a good amount of wrist preparation every day, like you'll be fine.
Yeah. My wrists don't hurt anymore. You don't get wrist pain, do you?
Not anymore. I remember like it was probably like a month into that everyday thing, I started getting wrist pain, so I kind of had to back off.
Yeah.
Do some easier sort of progressions, keep working like low intensity stuff on the wrists. But yeah, just taking a step back and you can kind of train for it a little bit.
Yeah, because that was, I remember, a big thing for me was the pain when I first started, and that's gone now. But yeah, that's just from doing push-ups and body weight exercises to strengthen my wrists. So I guess this is a question that I get a lot. People plateau, right? And when they hit a plateau, whether it's weightlifting or body weight training or biking or running, whatever, people think that they can't progress anymore, and it's like either they quit or you find a way to break through that plateau. Do you feel that you've experienced that with many different things, or you get to a point and you're just like, how do I get to the next level? And if so, how have you worked through that?
Yeah, plateau. I think especially in body weight training and handstands where it's much less quantifiable. So like when you go into the gym and you start lifting weights, you're like, oh, I did 8 reps with 20 kilos last week. Now I can do 10 reps. Like it's very black and white in terms of like what you can achieve. When it comes to handstands and bodyweight movements, like the slight changes that you make can make a huge amount of difference as how intense and how hard it is to perform. So I think in that sort of sense, it's hard to like kind of work out where a plateau is.
Yeah.
I think number one is understanding that everyone plateaus. Like it's just gonna happen. Like I started doing bodyweight training. I really wanted to get the straddle planche, and 3 years later, I still haven't got a straddle planche. Like it's stuff just takes time.
Yeah.
Patience is 100% like one of the most important things when it comes to this.
Yeah.
I think if you do plateau, then definitely assess what you're doing. If you're just playing and you're hitting a plateau and you want to achieve something, then maybe it's time to introduce some structured training.
Yeah.
Maybe it's time to approach somebody with a bit more experience, get some coaching, and just reassess your approach. But if you're still having fun, if you're making progress in other ways, then
that's all that matters. Yeah,
exactly.
The plateau is, it's necessary. And I guess for me, what I realized after getting through my first like big like plateau with handstands was that whole time that I was in a plateau, I thought at least that I just wasn't making any progress. But what I actually was doing there was building the muscle memory that eventually that one day when I finally got like my perfect handstand line, it was like, oh shit, that past 5 months wasn't for nothing. When I just couldn't get it. And
Steve Atlas actually has a great video on this. He talks about how progression, it may seem like a plateau, but there's lots of little things going on behind that isn't perhaps visible. And then that all eventually kind of collates together, and then you get that big jump forward.
Yeah.
That kind of super compensation that you've been working up to, as you said, for maybe like 5 months, you haven't seen much change, and all of a sudden, it clicks and you move on and you've progressed.
And it's freaking awesome. Yeah, so I guess the message there being, don't give up, and just like know that if you keep on doing what you're enjoying, something good's going to happen from it.
Yeah,
cool.
For sure. I think having that self-awareness to know as well, like sometimes it is better to don't just do the same thing over and over again and expect different results.
Yeah, exactly.
Combination of perseverance and some intelligent training.
Yeah. I always say just be conscious while you're training, or just aware training. If you're falling over every time, like, yes, that is okay. It's a part of it, but also like, why are you falling over every time? Try to assess it so that you can learn and still fall, but like understand why you might be falling. Yeah, definitely. Mindful practice. Do you have any big advice for a beginner, somebody that is feeling like they have no chance of like somebody that's at that beginning point where they just literally don't even know what it's like to feel stronger or healthier or just happier about their physical and mental state?
Okay. Sure. Again, as you said, you don't have to do everything at once. When people see the transformation videos, like in retrospect, everything seems very logical, and there's like, oh, you have to do all of these little steps. But when you're actually doing it, it's very linear, and you're doing one thing at a time. You might tweak one thing. Like you don't just all of a sudden wake up and you're a different person with a different approach to your nutrition and your training, and like it takes time, and just make the small changes for sure. Definitely. So making it fun, making it enjoyable is 100%. The most frustrating thing for me is nutrition.
Yeah.
Having been through that phase where like I counted all of my macronutrients, like I was obsessed with my calorie counting, and what that does is produce these like bland meals simply because they're easy to add up.
Yep.
Whereas now I haven't counted calories for like 2 years. I just focus on making really tasty food with whole foods, and like that means I really enjoy it. I really like cooking.
Yeah.
My whole relationship to food has changed. I don't see it as like a fuel now. I see it as part of a culture, part of like it's a real experience that
your daily enjoyment.
It's one of those. Yeah, like I love eating really nice food. That's like one of my favorite things to do.
Same.
I'm sure everyone does.
Yeah.
But like, I think that relationship to food that you can build up when you think, oh, I'm going on a diet and it's going to be horrible and I'm not going to be able to eat this, I'm not going to be able to eat that. It's like you can make any dish healthy if you just use a bit of home cooking and whole food ingredients.
Yeah.
Like as bad as it sounds, if you just type in like a recipe and then put paleo afterwards, the likelihood is somebody has taken all of the crap that's in a usual kind of recipe and made it somewhat whole foods and healthy.
Yeah. That's funny. Yeah, well, it's there's so much accessibility to these recipes. But yeah, at the end of the day, if you cook your food at home and you're making it homemade, it already is going to be so much better than something that is pre-prepared. And I really preach just trying to pay attention to the foods that make you feel energized and full. And despite whatever like fad diet is going on, just like if you find a plate of food that makes you feel really good and really energized, just like eat that, because that's what you need. Mm-hmm. For me, like I like thrive off of carbs. Like I need lots of carbs, whether it's vegetables or potatoes or whatever. Like I don't need much protein. I just need a ton of carbs. Otherwise I get hangry and my energy just crashes. And I can just eat endlessly if I don't get a plate of food that is like satisfying. So just finding that one plate of food that just makes you really happy.
I'm like the complete opposite. If I have too many carbohydrates, I definitely get a bit of a crash. Like I work better high fat, low carb.
Yeah, well there you go.
But cool. Yeah, again, that's been years of experimenting and kind of figuring things out for myself.
Have you ever heard of the metabolic typing book? I actually think I have it.
Yeah, I'm a Czech certified holistic lifestyle coach. So I had to read it as part of my qualification.
Yeah, cool. Yeah, it's cool. That's so I first did like the test in there and did the carb. Found out it said that I was a mixed type, but then I realized that I kind of lied to myself on some of the questions because I thought I liked certain foods more than others, but that was more coming from cravings. So it turns out
there's definitely a kind of a perception thing, and I kind of like his. I mean, because if you're from Canada originally, I think, aren't you?
Yeah, I'm Canadian.
Like, if you go with his like Czech primal patterning kind of thing, which is all to do with where your ancestry is from in terms of geolocation. So traditionally, people who would be around the Caribbean, the tropics, they would probably have a diet higher in plants and carbohydrates simply because of the availability. Whereas people, more towards those polar regions where you have frost and plant life is hard to grow over winter, you might have more of an animal-based, higher fat approach. So I think that was interesting, and that's when I started playing with it.
Yeah, very cool. That's cool. That's definitely what I encourage. So do you ever do resistance training, weight training?
I don't, but that's simply like I'm not against weight training.
Yeah.
I do use weights for legs simply because it is better all in all.
Yeah.
But I think what really matters is what are your goals?
Yeah.
Like there is body weight training's a tool, hand balancing's a tool,
Yeah.
yoga's a tool. It's all like there's no one perfect thing. What matters is what you want to get out of it.
Yeah.
As you said before, so weight training is useful. It's not something that motivates me
Yeah.
to move. I find it a little bit restrictive. I like to, kind of be a bit more free and do that sort of thing. But I mean, again, it's up to you. I would recommend it for building certain sort of basic strengths, and also for rehab, it can be very useful.
Yeah.
Yeah,
just what you
all
enjoy.
In all, 100%.
Yeah, cool. Yeah, because resistance training is one of those things that, it's funny. I find people usually either love bodyweight training or they love resistance training, and it is just whatever you enjoy and whatever you get passionate about. That is best. I find that, same thing. I just like main movements like deadlifting and squatting, and other than that, I can use bodyweight training for everything else. That's what I feel.
From one perspective, I do think everyone should include that, like heavy lifting, because of the positive hormetic effect that it has on your body.
Yeah.
Like lifting heavy shit from the ground has a really good hormonal response.
Yeah.
Even if it's just once a week, once every 2 weeks.
Yeah. Pumps you up. Pumps me up. The girl running around the room, I'm so strong.
That's awesome. It's awesome.
It is. It's amazing to feel strong, and that's what handstands and lifting a heavy weight can do for me. Although that being said, I've been out of the weight room for a while now, like months. I've just been doing training outside.
On the beach, I see.
Yeah, on the beach. The sand has been unbelievable for my inversion practice, because it's been such a change. And you have, at the beach, you basically have 3 different levels of difficulty. You can be right down where the waves are coming up and you're almost in this muddy sand. And it's just really sort of stable base. And to find balance on it, you have to really be there. Not only is the base unstable, you have like the wind coming off the ocean and the sound of the waves and people walking by. And it's like this awesome thing for your mental headspace as well as your physical strength. And your balance. And then if you just go up a little bit farther, you have like the easiest part of the beach. You have like the hard packed down sand where you can kind of grip it like blocks.
Yeah.
And then loose sand. But loose sand lately I've gotten really like a lot better on. And you just reach your hands into it and you literally grab it like blocks.
Yeah, you do, yeah.
It's cool. It's fun. It's been a lot of fun. I've gotten a lot of sand in my hair and just like gotten destroyed by a lot of waves doing it.
Oh man, I can't. It's currently pretty cold here.
Yeah.
Definitely not beach sort of weather, but I can't wait till summer. It's like definitely an opportunity to go train on the beach is never passed up on.
Yeah. I had never been swimming in the ocean before moving here. So this was like, I've been in Australia
Canada.
Yeah. I grew up inland too. I've been in Australia for 9 months now, and people see me doing inversions on the beach every day, but I'm still like, this is still so new to me. Like, it's not like this is my norm. Even now, it's still not my norm. It's crazy. So I'm going to actually skip over one of the questions I had, because we know why you prefer, I was going to say, why do you prefer bodyweight training over resistance training? But just because that's what you enjoy. Like, you just enjoy.
It's more fun.
Yeah.
I sometimes do Olympic lifting, as I said. It just depends, really.
Yeah. What is your biggest motivation to improve? Is it like a person? Is it yourself? Music?
My biggest motivation to improve, I just do it because I enjoy doing it. Like there is, I don't need anything more than that, really.
Yeah.
For me personally, that is though. Originally I got into it, I was very motivated by aesthetics, how I looked. So I guess that's kind of maybe an egotistical. I think a lot of people get started in health because they want to look good, but I think it doesn't. Maybe sounds bad. It doesn't take a whole lot to look good into it. And also, when you realize, and like I was down to like 5% body fat at one point when I was doing like bodybuilding stuff, and I just felt absolutely awful. Like I may have looked pretty good, but I felt terrible. And I think that's one thing people don't realize. Like, there is definitely a bit of a scam when it comes to what the fitness industry puts up as healthy and aspirational. And then actually, when you see these people, maybe like bodybuilders on stage at like 3% body fat, like they feel like death when they're there.
Yeah.
Like, it's not a good place to be, and it's not a realistic aspiration. So that was a bit off topic, wasn't it? What motivates you? Definitely, currently not aesthetics. I just like feeling good.
That's awesome.
One of the reasons I got into bodyweight training is like I couldn't even touch my toes when I was doing powerlifting. And those sort of things. Like, I like feeling my body feels so much better when I'm doing bodyweight training. I'm a little bit more functional. I focus on my mobility and just moving better.
Yeah, you're like your body is a tool, and you're learning how to use it best and to use it for your own happiness. And yeah, you're right. A lot of people definitely do get into fitness to want to look better, but for obviously lots of people that then transitions into just feeling better. And then when you feel better, you'll look better too, because you'll just be happier. And even if you go from smiling or from not smiling to smiling, there's already a transformation there.
Absolutely.
Very cool. Well, yeah, that's the same thing at me at this point. Just whatever I enjoy is the only thing that keeps me going out there every day.
I think you see the people who like struggle on that cycle of getting into fitness and getting into. They always start with that aesthetic, that kind of ego-driven position. I mean, rightly so, but I mean, I think that in itself it doesn't provide the substance to keep going with your training. I think that motivation has to come from within. You have to be doing something that ultimately you enjoy, something that makes you feel good, makes you driven to get up in the morning.
Yeah,
and I think that's what people struggle with.
Yeah, I agree. And the whole aesthetics thing and needing to look better and having to look better, like that's coming from fear, and what you're talking about is coming from happiness. And what motivates you just do it because it makes you happy and you enjoy. You're not doing something because you're terrified of like what you look like otherwise. Just the mental health aspect.
I probably should mention this. There's nothing wrong with like wanting to look good.
No, there isn't.
it's perfectly acceptable. Just saying, like, there is, whatever motivates you to keep going and maintain a healthy lifestyle and work at being a better version of yourself is fine.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, I have like it's what I see sometimes is just when things get obsessive, it can get unhealthy. Whoa, what did I just do there? Oh, never mind. Sorry, my screen just did something weird. Is there anything else you'd like to talk about, or anything that you would just like to say?
Put me on the spot. I would like to ask you, what are your plans for the future of your training? What are you trying to spread? Like, I see you doing all these awesome handstands on the beach. You're very down to earth. You seem very motivational. Like, what's your kind of, I don't know, what do you want to do with this? What are you trying to spread?
I started sharing everything on social media like at the start of me transforming from a very not necessarily happy place, not extraordinarily unhappy, but just that lost end of teenage years space. And I started sharing that kind of immediately. And so I feel that I'm pretty certain at this moment in time that I really want to continue to step forward into the health and fitness industry and just, I guess, like happiness. But also just like the mind. I love the mind. I love how health and fitness really ties into mental strength. So I really want to continue to find a way to connect this body weight, inversion, hand balancing training with mental strength and motivation. And I feel like for myself, my biggest goal is to like just make sure that I'm trying to like kind of cut the crap and just be honest with myself and with everybody else and provide a value through that, and just helping create a space where like if somebody reaches out to me for help, I can help them, but they can also help me. And I want to break away from the really one-sidedness of the social media and the health and fitness, which is
Yeah, for
people
sure.
just following you and you just kind of being there. So it sounds really kind of vague right now, and it's because being honest, it is, because I'm still very early. But what I do know is I really want to go forward with motivating people to just believe that they deserve to be happy, and I need to do that by being in that place myself. So I've actually taken like a week off of Instagram because I've just been focusing on.
I saw that.
Yeah, it's been crazy.
I thought that was a nice idea.
Yeah, it's been weird, but it's been good, and it's been really necessary, and I think that it's necessary, and that's another thing I want to encourage with people is just like take a break if you need to. Just because you take a break doesn't mean that it'll make you stronger. It doesn't make you weaker, and people are afraid of that. But I probably need to think about that whole why more. You put me on the spot.
I 100% agree. I think what you're trying to do, the fact that you're trying to build a community and you're trying to think about your followers, there is definitely this like very strange like self-reassurance sort of thing that goes on in the fitness community where people just post like a picture of themselves and then it's motivation, but they're kind of getting an external source of like the validity of what they're doing. It's like it's a weird kind of back and forth. It doesn't like it just seems like the followers are there to give
them that reassurance. Yeah.
I really don't understand it. Like as much as it's motivational to see people do awesome things, I find it very off-putting when you see somebody who's very disattached from their audience. They just throw up an image, they throw up something, and they're like, "Here, love me, praise me, I'm awesome."
Yeah.
And I think that's a really strange one, and I think it's nice that, like yourself, you try to be more honest, more down to earth, and communicate with the people who you're trying to inspire and trying to motivate to become better. I mean, I recently started a Facebook group because I kind of felt a bit disattached, and I really wanted to know that all of the information that I'm putting out, I'm trying to help people. I'm doing it off my own time. I'm not really making money off this.
Yeah.
Like I'm trying to help people, and I really want to find out how people are doing.
Yeah.
So I made this Facebook group, and we've now got, I think, 600 odd members, which is awesome, and it's really active. People are sharing all the progress they're making, sharing.
What's it called? Because I'll link it in this video when I put it up on YouTube. Or can we link it?
Yeah. It's a open group. Obviously, you have to like be approved to join because we're trying to avoid like spam and that sort of stuff. But yeah, it's just the Bodyweight Warriors.
Sweet. I'll get you to DM me the link, and I'll pop it. I'll attach it to this if people are interested in checking that out. This has been awesome. I'm so happy that we got to do this, and hopefully, one day. My mother's from England, and
no way.
Yeah, and I'm going through the process of getting my British passport right now. So, be in England at some point or another. And
definitely come in summer. It's not the best in winter.
Yeah. I've been there once. I've been once for 3 weeks in the summer, and I really loved it. So looking forward to coming back, and when we do, we'll have to do a in-person video, do some handstands.
Please do.
Yeah, awesome. Okay, well, basically, so I'm going to link Tom's channel, and go check out his stuff because it's freaking awesome. I'm also going to, I'll link your Instagram as well. But thank you so much, Tom. Any last comments before I turn off the recording portion of this?
Have fun, get outside, get moving. That's it, I think.
I hope you guys enjoyed that. Tom, I had an awesome time talking with you, and I really can't wait to have a lot more conversations like this. Guys, my whole idea here is that I want to create more conversation, more raw conversation within this community that we're all taking part in. So if you have any suggestions, just comment them below. Make sure you give this video a thumbs up if you liked it, and if you want to see more, subscribe.